Welcome back to Random Cardinal of the Week. I'm Jim Plaza. Be sure to check out Redbird Rundown and Viva Alberto's for the most in-depth coverage of the St. Louis Cardinals, and like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. When people think about valuable baseball players, they usually think about stars. The MVP candidates, the Cy Young winners, the guys whose jerseys you see all over the ballpark. But baseball teams, especially winning ones, are built on more than just stars. They're built on versatility. Players who can move around the field. Players who can switch hit. Players who can step into different roles and just produce. And if you look at the history of the St. Louis Cardinals, you'll find plenty of those guys. In the 1980s, there was Jose Oquendo, the secret weapon, who literally made at least one appearance at every position on the field. Later on, you had Albert Pujols. Before he became a full-time first baseman and a future Hall of Famer, he played 5 different positions in his first 2 seasons. And then there's Skip Schumacher, who came up as an outfielder and reinvented himself as a second baseman in 2009. Especially during the Tony La Russa era, versatility wasn't just appreciated, it was essential. If you could do a little bit of everything, you had a place on the roster. And in late 2008, the Cardinals took a chance on a player who fit that mold perfectly. A switch hitter, a former top prospect, a player coming off the worst stretch of his career. And over the next 2 months, he would completely turn things around. Today's Random Cardinal of the Week is utility man Felipe Lopez. Felipe Lopez was born on May 12, 1980 in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, and grew up in Florida. By the time he reached Lake Brantley High School, he was already turning heads. In his senior season in 1998, Lopez hit an incredible .521 with 7 home runs, 15 doubles, and 34 stolen bases. He was named Florida Player of the Year and earned recognition from Baseball America as the best defensive shortstop in the country. That kind of talent doesn't go unnoticed. The Toronto Blue Jays selected him with the 8th overall pick in the 1998 draft. And he wasted no time producing in professional baseball, hitting .375 across low A and high A in his first season. In 1999, he drove in 80 runs and stole 21 bases. In 2001, he hit 16 home runs in AAA Louisville. And that August, he got the call. Felipe Lopez made his major league debut on August 3, 2001 against the Baltimore Orioles. And in his very first at-bat, he doubled in a run. He hit safely in his first 4 games and finished the season hitting .260 with 5 home runs, 5 doubles, 4 triples, and 23 RBIs in just 49 games. And it looked like the Blue Jays had found something special. But baseball careers rarely follow a straight line. After parts of 2 seasons in Toronto, Lopez was traded to the Cincinnati Reds in a 4-team deal. At first, he played behind Hall of Famer Barry Larkin in 2003 and 2004. But in 2005, he got his shot as the starting shortstop, and he delivered. A .291 batting average, 23 home runs, 85 RBIs, 15 stolen bases. He made the All-Star team and won the National League Silver Slugger at shortstop. At that point, it looked like Lopez had arrived. And then came the downturn. In 2006, after 85 games with Cincinnati, he was traded to the Washington Nationals. He hit .281 after the trade and finished the season with 11 home runs and 44 stolen bases. But there was a problem. Defense. Lopez committed 28 errors at shortstop that year, the most in the majors at that position. In 2007, things got worse. He posted the lowest fielding percentage among National League shortstops and hit just .245 over 154 games. For the first time in his career, his WAR dipped into the negative. And by 2008, things had hit rock bottom. In 100 games with Washington, Lopez hit .234 with just 2 home runs. He struggled defensively at second base, committed 10 errors, and posted a negative 1.7 WAR. And on July 31st, 2008, he was released. At that point, it felt like his career might just be slipping away. Meanwhile, in St. Louis, the Cardinals were in transition. After deep playoff runs in 2004, 5, and 6, the team had disappointed in 2007. Longtime GM Walt Jocketty was out. John Mozeliak was in. The roster was changing. Scott Rowland was traded for Troy Gloss. Jim Edmonds traded for David Freese. Key contributors like So Taguchi, David Eckstein, and Scott Spezio were gone. And yet, despite all of that, the 2008 Cardinals were hanging around. On August 5th, they were 63-52 and still in the hunt for a wild card spot. They were getting big production from Troy Gloss and Ryan Ludwig, who would go on to hit .299 with 37 home runs that year. But they needed help, especially up the middle. So they took a chance. Less than a week after being released, Felipe Lopez signed with the Cardinals. And this is where his story changes. Jose Oquendo, yes, the same secret weapon, saw promise and took Lopez under his wing. He worked with him on defensive positioning, his footwork, and his overall approach. But just as importantly, he challenged Lopez mentally to reflect, to adjust, to reset. And Lopez immediately noticed something different about the Cardinals clubhouse, a winning culture. And from day one, it showed. On August 6, 2008, Lopez made his Cardinals debut in left field against the Dodgers, wearing number 22. In his first at-bat, he singled. Over his first 9 games, he hit .357 and finished August hitting .333. Then came September. He homered in back-to-back games to start the month and went 9 for 12 in a series against Arizona. By the end of September, he was hitting .414 for the month with 12 multi-hit games. For a player who had just been released, it was remarkable. Unfortunately, however, the team couldn't quite keep up. Bullpen struggles and injuries derailed the Cardinals down the stretch. A 7-game losing streak in mid-September basically knocked them out of contention. But Lopez just kept hitting. In the final series of the season against his former team, the Reds, he went 8 for 12 with a home run, 4 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and 2 walks. When it was all said and done with the Cardinals in 2008, Lopez had hit .385 with a .426 on-base percentage and a .964 OPS, 4 home runs, and 21 RBIs in just 43 games. Good for a 1.4 WAR in just 2 months. And along the way, he played 6 different positions, which was exactly the kind of player the Cardinals valued. After the season, both sides were interested in a reunion. But without a guaranteed starting job, Lopez instead signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats and posted a .301 average in 85 games before he was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers. With Milwaukee, he hit .320, added 20 doubles, and finished the year with a combined 3.3 WAR. In 2010, Lopez returned to St. Louis for another stint. This time, the results weren't quite the same. He hit just .231 in 109 games, but he still had one unforgettable moment. On April 17, 2010, in a marathon game against the Mets, Lopez started at shortstop, moved to third base, and then in the 18th inning, he took the mound. Yes, Felipe Lopez, the utility player, became a pitcher. With the bullpen exhausted, he stepped in and delivered a scoreless inning. He got Henry Blanco to fly out, allowed an infield single, saw that runner thrown out trying to advance, walked Angel Pagan, and then got Mike Jacobs to fly out to end the inning. The Cardinals would eventually lose in 20 innings, but Felipe Lopez had just thrown a shutout inning in his only major league appearance. With the organization looking to provide opportunities to its younger players, Lopez was released by the Cardinals on September 21st and finished the 2010 season with the Boston Red Sox. He played his final major league season in 2011, splitting time between the Rays and the Brewers. He continued playing internationally, including in the Puerto Rican Winter League and in Taiwan, before retiring in 2014 at age 35. Felipe Lopez's career wasn't a straight path. It was a roller coaster. From a top 10 draft pick, to an all-star and Silver Slugger, to being released mid-season, to a late career resurgence in St. Louis. And through it all, one thing kept him in the game: versatility, the ability to adapt, to move, to contribute wherever needed. And that's what makes his story stick. Because baseball, maybe more than any other sport, is about adjustment, about resilience, about taking advantage of the next opportunity, even when it looks like there might not be one. In a season where the Cardinals were searching for stability during a time of change, Felipe Lopez helped bridge the gap. And for 2 unforgettable months in 2008, he reminded everyone just how valuable a player like that can be. A reminder that sometimes all it takes is just one more chance. Thank you again for listening. Be sure to check out all the great content on Redbird Rundown and Viva Alberto's, and like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back next week with another forgotten name from Cardinals history. Until then, I'm Jim Plaza, and this has been Random Cardinal of the Week.